evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a few seconds for a short prayer and a salute to our flag. Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all of our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice and service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Statement of publication, please, Jessica.
Take notice that this regular meeting of the mayor and council being held on this 10th day of February 2020 has been advertised and posted in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Delina.
Here.
Enriquez.
Here.
Mar.
Here.
McGill. Novak.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Approval of prior minutes. The mayor and council, council president.
Yes, I make a motion that a motion to approve, subject to change, the meeting of the regular agenda and closed session January 27th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Novak.
Yes.
Delina. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Okay, this evening, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to be able to announce that we have yet another proclamation for presentation today. We're honored to have several young men and women with us tonight from the Future Business Leaders of America organization from the Saraville War Memorial High School. So at this time, I'll ask that my fellow council colleagues please come up to the podium, and I'm going to ask the advisor, along with these wonderful people, to come on up so that we can present this presentation and this proclamation. Good evening, everybody, and how about let's get you on camera. So let's have you all turn around. Our camera is located right there next to our clock, and of course the tallest fellow right in front of me. That's perfect. That's exactly the way I like that. And I would just like to take an opportunity to read this proclamation out. Before that, I give the microphone over so that the well, you're officially the, we call it liaison here, but you're the advisor for the Future Business Leaders of America. I'll have you come up and introduce everybody, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, tonight, our proclamation for the Future Business Leaders of America states, whereas Future Business Leaders of America, Phi Beta Lambda, is a nonprofit educational organization whose first chapter was established in Johnson City, Tennessee in 1942. And whereas this organization has grown now to encompass over 250,000 members and advisors nationwide in middle schools, high schools, and colleges and universities, career and technical schools, and private business schools. And whereas the FBLA PBL inspires and prepares students to become community-minded business leaders in a global society through relevant career preparation and leadership experiences. And whereas members perform community service activities and strive to build a student's understanding of the realities of the modern business world, and whereas FBLA teaches high school students basic business and leadership principles, and the PBL helps universities, college, technical, and business school students to make the transition from school to work. Now therefore, I, Victoria Kilpatrick, Mayor of the Borough of Saraville, in conjunction with my council members as well, do hereby proclaim the second week in February as National FBLA PBL Week in the Borough of Saraville, New Jersey. So now's our time to applaud. So I'd like to present this certificate along with our other proclamation, and I'd like to hand the microphone over to you for a few moments so that way you can introduce yourself and these fine men and young ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be here this evening. My name is Chris Howard. I'm actually a history teacher over there at the high school. Somehow got put in charge of a business club. So the fact that I'm standing up here, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty amazing. I'm only going to be very brief, and then I'm actually going to hand it over to the young man that's really been the driving force behind our chapter this year. Our chapter at the high school has approximately 150 members, and we... And we thank you so much. And if it wasn't for some of these great young men and women that you see here before you, the chapter wouldn't be anything that it is today. We do things from business-related events to technology. Our real focus is to try to get our students prepared and ready for the world that's going to meet them right as high school ends, whether they're going college, whether they're going for the technical routes, or they're going right into the workforce. FBLA is a great opportunity for these students really to flex their academic muscles as well as really increase their skills and leadership. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Otis Chitnis, who again, like I said, is the driving force behind our chapter this year. And I'm hoping that we have a state competition later in March that everybody standing here in front of you does very well there. So, Otis?
So I'd like to thank Mayor Kilpatrick and the entire Sayreville Council for this opportunity to be here. Mr. Howard's proudly modeling our new proclamation. Yeah.
I'm going to make you stand over a little more because in a second you're going to be off camera, and I want you to be able to preserve this memory forever.
So what FBLA PBL Week is really about, it's our 3 central sort of ideas about FBLA. It's service, education, and progress. We pride ourselves on providing different opportunities for our members to engage with different business programs, community service, and all the things that encompass being the future business leaders of America. This year, our motto is a world of opportunity, and I think that our advisor and our members, we really provide a world of opportunities, not just for ourselves, but for the greater community, and we thank all of you for recognizing us and really advancing the interests of our students and the entire world of business. So I'll introduce everyone. This is our great advisor, Mr. Howard. So it was actually last year recognized as the 5-year advisor award. That's a big milestone in FBLA. We have our president of chapter events, Jimmy Adams, a senior, graduate senior, going to Princeton actually. So. We have Amisha Patel, who's been to nationals, big achievement. Then we have the big guy, Stephen Farley. So basketball, baseball, he did it all. But he's especially proud. He organized our trip to Goldman Sachs, and he was a really big part of that. And we have next to him sitting the little guy. Although he's a little bit shorter, his spirit's still just as big. His name is Anthony Mondrine, and he's our nominee for the Gold Member Award at the state level this year for all his contributions. And then we have a group of 3 amazing seniors. Martha Winsky, who's our Chief Operating Officer, who's really, through the past 3 years, she's done so much for our club. She's really revitalized who we are, and I think she embodies what we are in FBLA and SWMHS. And then Rhea Patel, she did a lot of community service stuff for us last year. Really single-handedly, along with her group of 3, she organized our Hands of Hope food drive. We collected more than 1,000 pounds of food for the needy, 2,000 pounds of food for the needy, 1 ton. We literally collected a ton of food, and that was all thanks to Rhea. And then Anna, I'm not going to try to say your last name. Okay, thank you, Howard. So she's done a lot for our club, especially over the last 3 years. And one thing is she's been promoting FBLA PBL Week across our school, and she really made a really nice bulletin board, which you can see actually on our school newsletter, which I think that's amazing because she's artistic and she's good for business.
Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you all. So before you leave, and I'll ask to separate just a little bit so that way you guys can actually hear from our council members here. I was so excited to receive your email inviting me to come to your last meeting. Under a teacher schedule, sometimes it makes it a little tricky to get all the way down to you. I know it's only down the Black Path, but I did get there. But unfortunately, most of you had already left. So I thought that this was a much better way to honor you, to be able to let everybody, the entire town of Sayreville that watches our YouTube and watches our Channel 15 broadcast, to really see what amazing young people we have in Sayreville. We very, very often get to celebrate so many of our athletic championships here. But when I look out and I hear somebody speak so eloquently and so professionally, I can only imagine what the future holds for each and every one of you. And I think it's important that people understand that uniforms in life don't always have to come with cleats or with a nice number on their back. You are our future. Here in Saraville, we know the importance of what businesses bring to our town, and I can only imagine what kind of successes you are going to have. Going to Princeton, that is just impressive. I can't even say. So proud of all of you. But I'd like my council colleagues to also let you know how very proud we are to have you as part of our organization here at the Saraville War Memorial High School.
Start with Council President. I just want to say, no matter what you kids do in life, and you're really not kids, but to me, everybody's a kid, you're going to succeed, and you make Saraville very, very proud. Thank you.
So I also am a teacher, high school teacher, and I know how intimidating it is today to even be able to stand up and speak and present in this digital age that you've become accustomed to. So to know that you're acquiring these skills at FBLA and using them for your future, you should be very proud of yourselves. Congratulations.
I agree. All of you should be very proud of yourself. Back when I was in high school and a long time ago, I was a member of FBLA as well, so I know the how good of a program it is, and I'm proud of all of you.
I was in DECA. That's the competing one, right?
Well, if we're doing that, I was the president of co-op way back.
We're trying to bridge that divide. Become friends again. So.
I just want to congratulate all of you for your accomplishments and what you're doing in this club and the future that you have for yourself, because it sounds like you've built a really solid foundation for whatever you want to do, whether it's going into business in Goldman Sachs and banking, where I work at Bank of Tokyo. I would have loved to have gone on that tour. Or entrepreneurship. Having had small businesses myself, that's a great opportunity for you to grow whatever it is. And I've already heard so much entrepreneurship from all of you up here. I just can't wait to see what you're doing in the future. Congratulations.
I do not like going last because everything is basically have been said already. But I would like to. Oh yes, sorry, babe. I would like to congratulate you. It sounds like you guys are progressing the way you should be. Nothing but bright futures ahead for you, and you do speak very well. I mean, I was very impressed. Okay, congratulations all.
Thank you very much. By the way, everyone see me. I have all of your parking tickets validated before you leave. You are the future, our future, business. And by the way, Princeton, unbelievable. But I can tell you right now, the prediction is, Anthony, and this is the New York way of saying it, Anthony, they were all going to be working for you one day. God bless all of you. Very proud of you.
So turn around and give a wave, because, ladies and gentlemen, these are going to be multimillionaires, successful business leaders, changers of the world right here in front of you, and they all come right out of our wonderful high school, Saraville War Memorial High School. Give a wave, everybody. You deserve it, and congratulations. Thank you, guys. Did you want to say?
So, Mayor Kilpatrick, I don't think anything can compare to what you've given us today. We have a small token of our appreciation. From me and from our entire club of 150 members, we have our certificate. See, we have a lot of Instagram people here, so we can get a photo going.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it. Can I come down? Let's get a photo. I gotta go down because he's too tall.
Yes, even stood right in the middle.
Somebody just take it. I'm using my phone.
You want to take a seat?
I'm not gonna.
Yes.
I'll come right over here.
Mr. Henry, would you take a picture for us, please? Our former councilman, thank you so much. Come on over. Mr. Howard. Well, I'm short. Is everybody behind me? Yes. Arms close.
Okay, on three. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Did you guys get it?
Come back and join us.
Oh, you're juniors.
Thank you.
Yeah. Make sure.
So nice to meet you. You're free to leave now unless you want to watch a little business here at the council level. Thank you, I'm hanging this in my office today. This means a lot to me. Thank you all so much. Mr. Howard, thank you.
Thank you.
And I will be at your next meeting, I promise. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Michelle, if you want to stay or.
Okay.
Yeah, nice job. The last one.
Can I have a motion to accept that proclamation?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Novak.
Yes.
Delina. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Moving on to old business then. We have a public hearing on the following ordinances. Jessica?
Public hearing on ordinance number 484-20, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 5 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Saraville to add Section 5-18 curfew.
Okay, at this point, I'll open to the public for any and all comments regarding ordinance number 484-20. Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilman McGill.
Public hearing is closed. The ordinance is adopted on second and final.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons McGill.
Yes.
Delina. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Public hearing on ordinance number 485-20, an ordinance amending the waterfront redevelopment plan of the Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey. We're gonna need a motion to carry that forward.
Yeah, can we have a motion to, motion to carry? That would be, I'm sorry, Councilman Delina.
To carry the public hearing.
It's carried to public hearing to the 22nd.
24th.
Oh, 24th, my apologies.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jessica.
Councilpersons Delina. Yes. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Public hearing on ordinance number 486-20, an ordinance supplementing and amending ordinance number 436-19, fixing the salaries of certain borough officials, officers, and employees for the years 2020 to 2022.
And for this,
Need a motion.
Motion to table?
is there a second? Roll call, please, Jessica.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Delina. Yes. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Novak.
Okay, thank you. Now, moving on to new business, introduction of the,
Appointments in-
not right now. Right now, so we have our new business, introduction of the following ordinances. Jessica?
Ordinance number 487-20, an ordinance supplementing and amending ordinance number 436-19, fixing the salaries of certain borough officials, officers, and employees for the years 2020 to 2022.
Move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on February 24th.
Is there a second?
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Delina. Enriquez.
Yes.
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Ordinance number 488-20, an ordinance supplementing and amending ordinance number 437-19, fixing the salaries of certain borough officials, officers, and employees for the years 2020 to 2022.
Councilwoman Roberts?
I move to the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on February 24th.
There's-
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Delina. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Ordinance number 489-20, an ordinance adopting the River Road redevelopment plan amendment.
Councilman Delina, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the ordinance be approved on first reading and advertised according to law and a public hearing to be held on 2/24/20.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Delina.
Yes.
Enriquez.
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Novak. Roberts.
Yes.
At this time, I'll open the public portion for consent agenda resolution items only. Anybody from the public wish to speak? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
I move the public portion be closed and the consent agenda be approved on roll call vote.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Novak.
Yes.
Delina. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mar.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Jessica, we have a resolution to be read in full.
Yep, resolution number 2020-71, a resolution of the Borough of Saraville referring an ordinance amending the waterfront redevelopment plan to the Borough Planning Board for review, whereas the Borough of Saraville wishes to amend the waterfront redevelopment plan, whereas pursuant to NJSA Section 48:12A-7E, prior to the adoption of a redevelopment plan or revision or amendment thereto, the Planning Board shall transmit to the governing body within 45 days after referral, a report containing its recommendation concerning the redevelopment plan, and now therefore it be resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, that the ordinance amending the waterfront redevelopment plan attached hereto as Exhibit A is hereby referred to the Planning Board for their review in accordance with the provisions of Section 48:12A-7E.
Move the resolution be approved on roll call vote.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Novak?
Yes.
Delina?
Yes.
Enriquez?
Yes.
Mar?
Yes.
McGill?
Yes.
Roberts?
Yes.
CFO's report at this time.
Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you very much. Borough Engineer, Jake Cornell.
No report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. And Borough Attorney.
No report, Mayor.
All right, at this point, I will open the public portion of the meeting for any and all comments. I'm sorry. Joe Cupch, come on up.
Joe Cupch, tax assessor for Borough of Saraville. Mayor, governing body, I noticed that you tabled the one ordinance 486-20, but introduced 488-20. I still have some concerns with that. One is the SAM's salary guide. It's not supposed to be in there. This title of assessor and deputy assessor.
Mr. Copps, if I may, I know that these ordinances were tabled, but on the advice of our Labor Council, it was suggested that those actions take place. So without going into any personnel discussions, what I would recommend is that maybe tomorrow I can have an opportunity to speak to you regarding your
That would be
concerns.
fine.
Yeah, so you know what, Joe, before I leave, I'll make sure I give you my cell phone and we can set up an appointment to sit down.
All right, because I also want to talk about the salary range.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks,
All
Joe.
right, Thank you.
Thanks, Mr.
Thank you,
Copps.
Joe. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Please just state. He'll come. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
Christina Davis, 92 Miller Avenue, Saraville. I was just actually coming to follow Mr. Franco regarding the cost of the seating that we discussed last council meeting. You said that you didn't have those figures in front of you, but you would look back.
It's a little hard to hear you.
That you would look into the cost
You
of the
want to give her
seating.
the microphone instead? Sorry.
Better? Yeah.
Yes.
Just following up on the estimated cost of the seating of the Saraville Sports Complex, since you said that you didn't have those figures with you at our last meeting.
If I may, and I think our Director of Recreation is here, who I was using. Jerry, do you have those numbers by any chance? What it would cost? I think this is from the Parks Department, actually, but you, in a range of what the cost of the seating was for the fields, the soccer fields?
The cost of the seating?
Yes, the cost of the seating.
I wasn't told that we required that. So the estimate that I received from CME, from Jay, was to reseat a soccer field.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just grab the microphone so that
Thank
way.
you.
Hi, Jerry Us, Director of Recreation.
Thank you, Jay.
Based on my conversations with Jay Cornell from CME, and we just did some preliminary checking as to what it would cost to reseed an entire soccer field and do some minor regrading, and it was $50,000. To re-sod it, it would be $75,000. Is that correct, Jay?
That's
right,
yes.
Okay.
Also a follow-up, so I guess we'll see that budgeted, because that wasn't in the budget at all last year for this year, so.
That doesn't have to be a line item in the budget.
Okay, all right, just making sure. Second question was for the council meeting that was held on January 27th, that video has yet to be posted on our media site, and the minutes have yet to be posted on the borough site.
The minutes were just approved, but I did ask Mr. Bracken, I think, last week or so, because I noticed the same thing. I believe it was put up.
Was put up.
Right before I came in, I checked, it was not up there, and typically they're posted the day after.
Okay, I will check. He told us he put it up.
Yeah, I
so-
noticed that as well, and I had requested that. I think it was last week. So I'll look and see where that was.
Okay, and my third thing, final thing, Sayreville Soccer Club sent in a permit request on Monday regarding a permit that was denied back at the end of, requested in the end of December, but denied on January 2nd. I just want to come up here and let you guys know that we did resubmit for a second permit and as well, for a second time rather. And I just wanted to make you guys aware, because I know that sometimes, especially with the business of a business day, what it looks like, and when you're looking at all these figures and ordinances and managing the personnel within the borough and everything that goes on, which I understand is a very tedious position, I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that by not allowing those permits to go through, how many children in Sayreville you are actually affecting. So, as a reference, this is 860 children that were registered with the program that will not be allowed to play at the Sayreville Sports Complex if Sayreville Soccer Club does not get their permits.
Mayor,
600
if I may, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you may address.
No, I'm sorry. Just so you know, no permits have been issued. So it's not just the Sayreville Soccer Club, so no permits have been issued yet.
Okay, I'm not referring to anyone else other than Sayreville
Well,
Soccer
I'm just saying, no permits for any club, organization, or anything have been issued.
Okay. That is, like I said, 860 children that were registered with the Sayreville Soccer Club that will not have a place to play. 618 of those children are residents of Sayreville and Parlin that would be directly affected by that. That's just recreation. When we look at the travel program, we have 56 children. 64% of them reside in, here you go, in the town of Sayreville or Parlin. That would be directly affected by not being issued permits. Now, I understand that the borough has up to 10 days to approve or deny those permits, so it's been 7 days. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Sure, Joe, come on up.
Joe Cups, tax assessor, and also helper with the census. Probably nobody noticed, but when I came in, I did some blizzarding and dropped some flyers off on the back table. It's Census 101, what you need to know is closer than you think. Here's a quick refresher of why it is and why it's essential that everyone is counted. And it's your civic duty. So I just wanted to remind everybody,
Thank you for that.
as a result of the seminar that I attended, I have come up here and had publicly, everybody be counted.
Yes. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much.
Mayor, if I may.
You may.
So, Joe, thank you for your service, number one. Thank you for chairing the committee, number two. And Joe was very instrumental. We actually, in order to count the census, we put in for a grant with the county that Joe was instrumental in writing up, and through Joe's efforts and a small part of the committee that Joe's been, that helped Joe, we able to get $13,000 or $15,000? $13,000 as a grant that will go to help us to count every resident in Sayreville. So Joe, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Joe.
I thank the committee members and my co-chair, Mr. Frankel.
Now, we're very grateful for that, and I know I've been in contact with Assemblywoman Lopez, who wanted to make sure that all of our, she actually gave you kudos and said thank you to Sayreville for getting all the paperwork in that was needed in order for them to start their process and get us that money for assistance through this. So, Joe, thank you. Thank you to all the committee members that have assisted with that, and thank you, Mr. Frankel. Okay, with that, any other comments from the public?
Move the public portion be closed?
Roll call, please. Oh, I can do an all in favor. All in favor?
Motion to adjourn.
Before we just motion to adjourn, I apologize. I just saw somebody very important out in the audience that before we adjourn, I would like to just acknowledge this young man for a second. And he's getting embarrassed already. But Mr. Ryan Provenza, can you come up for a second here, Ryan? Ryan Provenza is a middle school student. And he sent me, Ryan, what was that, about a week and a half ago?
Yeah, the Xfinity email like that I told you about, like about a new cable company.
Absolutely. So Ryan has been following the news and the woes and the aggravation that we as residents have been facing regarding Optimum. And Ryan is now officially in 8th grade, correct, Ryan?
Yeah.
He's in 8th grade, and I got the most well-written, and as a language arts teacher, it always makes me smile to see such great grammar. Wrote me this well-written kind of request. He had gone out on his own and was trying to come up and find different options for us as far as our internet service and as far as how residents can look at other options for their cable TV services.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you want to tell us what you did? Who you spoke to?
Well, I spoke to you about it.
I know you spoke to me about it. What was and you had gone out on your own when you were, I think, shopping, it said.
Yeah, when I was shopping at the mall, like the East Brunswick Mall, and saw like an Xfinity store. And I've been doing a lot of research before it, and like they include their own streaming device that Optimum doesn't include. It's called Xfinity Flex, and I've been doing a lot of research about it. Like, say if you don't want a TV plan and you want an internet plan, they include a free like streaming device. But if you want another one, it'll be like $5 extra. But yeah, Optimum doesn't include any of that, and I'm not being bad to Optimum.
No.
We just need another option.
You need other options. And tell everybody know how old you are, Ryan.
I'm 14.
He's 14 years old, middle school student. And, you know, a lot of times I don't think people understand that these young people, this is their world. Technology and all of this information that is somewhat overwhelming to me. I couldn't tell you from a telephone plug to a cable plug.
Oh, yeah.
And when I received his, I know, it's conflicts I face, me versus technology every day. When I received his email, I immediately sent it over to our borough administrator. And I had asked Mr. Frankel, can you please investigate this? And we are in the process of doing that, taking a look at what options we have. And Ryan, that was because of your email. And I want you to know that you made it all the way up to the top of local government, and we're pressing on. And I wanted to say thank you, and I'm sure that the council would like to say thank you for your efforts, and don't stop.
Okay.
Okay? You promise me? So I would just like to say
thank you.
Not bad for a 14-year-old who probably has homework to do still tonight, or did you finish it all, Ryan?
I finished it all.
Very proud of you. So with that, now we can adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Very good. Let's move on to our agenda session then. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Let's see. Thank you. Statement of publication, please, Jessica.
Take notice that this agenda session meeting of the mayor and council being held on this 10th day of February 2020 has been advertised and posted in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Delina. Enriquez.
Here.
Mar. McGill.
Yeah.
Novak.
Yeah.
Roberts.
Okay, old business, please. Any questions under ordinances that were previously introduced? Ordinance 457, 488, 489. Okay, moving on then to new business. Communications and committees reports, administration and finance, Councilwoman Roberts.
Okay, so minutes and departmental reports, there are none. Applications received for bingo raffle licenses from the following organizations: OLVHSA to conduct an on-premise tricky tray, March 20th, with the snow date of March 21st.
All in favor?
Motion to approve?
Or motion to approve? That's good. All right, committee report, sorry. Anything else to add, Councilwoman Roberts?
No, thank you.
Did I throw you? My apologies. Planning and zoning, Councilman Delina.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the following minutes and reports be received and filed, the planning board minutes of January 8th, 2020.
Second.
I would also like to say, the other day I was driving through Woodbridge and off Main Street, and the underpass, they have a wonderful tribute to our military. They painted under the underpasses. It's a bunch of different logos and memories for our veterans. I would like to look into doing something like that in town, whether we have one of our high school students or art classes, or maybe even have our Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts do that as well. You know, just to have to pay more homage to our veterans.
I love that idea.
Nice.
If you haven't been into Woodbridge lately, but if you do travel through, you'll see their beautiful wall murals. And maybe we can reach out, Mr. Frankel, also to Woodbridge, get an idea of how they went about doing their wall murals, and then maybe we can bring.
From my understanding, I think it was a service project done by the Boy Scouts and Girl
Wonderful.
Scouts.
So let's get a little bit more involved in this, because we have plenty of areas that can use some beautification. So
Just a quick question. Was that the railroad station? And is that underneath where you go to Wegmans, underneath by the dialysis center there?
Yes, exactly, right over there.
So maybe we can start with doing an inventory of the areas that we can actually beautify that belong to us. I know some of it I think is probably owned by Conrail, right? Some of our bridges. But maybe we can get an idea of how many areas we're looking at, and then we can put together something to go out to either our Boy Scouts community or to the high school. Would you head that up, please, Councilman Delina?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Public safety, Councilman McGill?
Thank you, Mayor. No minutes of reports, but a few things. This week I attended a meeting of the first aid squads and the people from Meridian with this co-plan that is going on right now. The meeting went well. It was run by the police department with Captain Kiernan. It was a lot of good things came out of it, and not very many bad things. One of the points that Sayville First Aid did make was, when they were asked of what might be wrong, was that Meridian at times leaves the doors open when they go on runs with their rig, and also that they have a habit of smoking in undesignated areas. I have no idea what I just said there, okay? Other thing was, I talked to the chief about the warning light coming out of ShopRite, because it is, we all know, it's nuts. You can't get in, you can't get out, and if you get in, then you have to worry about getting out. We are going to seriously look into putting a cautionary yellow red light there for yellow coming down Ernstine and red at the exit or entrance to ShopRite. That I think is good. It's a beginning. If I had my way, I would put a permanent directional stoplight there. I went to see Tom Bracken, the IT man, and I did bring up to him, because it was brought up here at the last meeting, that right after the mayor's speech, his farewell speech, it was taken down, and I think that the point should be taken that the guy was the mayor for 20 years and forever will be known as, you know, the mayor, that we should let it run for a month or so, 2 months, whatever. But it is a good point, because it is a bit of history now. And Tom Bracken said to me that he would, he assured me he would work on that. In politics, you never know what assured means, but I hope it means that he is going to put that up. Another item was the chief had mentioned security cameras, which I'm all for in all of our parks now. Our parks behind Borough Hall, everywhere now, because of since we are about to start work on Bailey Park, hopefully, we need to be able to see everything going on. This isn't outsiders doing this damage to our borough. These are our kids. And we really need to keep an eye on it. It's very expensive. We're all hardworking people. And I'd like to see more done about that. It takes money, and we all have to understand that. It takes money. But we really need to be able to control the security in our parks for our children, for their parents, for their grandparents, whomever happens to be in the park. Not because we have to shut down the park at a certain time because it's gotten, you know, it's dusk and we can't see anything, so we gotta shut the park down. We need security cameras in there desperately. One other item was, I had talked to the head of, I had talked to Dispatcher Hurley, and he would like us to look into possibly, I say that possibly, giving them a new title of Senior PST rather than just the dispatcher. I know this does not, I know I don't have a lot of support here, but I feel that these guys, men and women, are, right now they're overtaxed. Between our first aid, between the calls for service, between the fire department, these people are keeping us on top along with our police department, who everyone knows that I have very high regard for. And if I had more time, I'd be more forceful in my speech, but most of it would be X-rated. So I would consider that everyone be very thankful for all of our emergency services here. Be aware that our IT person cannot do all of this by himself. And by the way, when you put IT people into a job, in the long run, it's the best investment you can make. You save money in the long run. You know what? All you have to do is to walk into Joe Cutz's office, and it looks like something out of Office Space, okay? The poor guy is in there in a corner because nothing is on software. So, again, thank you very much, and that's the most I've ever spoken, so.
Thank you, Councilman McGill.
Councilman Gill, can I ask you a question? Was this meeting strictly about the first aid?
Yes, it was. First aid, along with how the correlation between first aid and whether they were mixing well with the people from Meridian.
Okay, because at the last meeting, you mentioned something about blinking lights by ShopRite. I was wondering if the discussion came up about some sort of blinking sign or something by OLV, because.
No,
yeah.
I'm more than happy to bring that up to the chief also.
Yeah, because it's, the crossing guard there asked me to bring it up.
Actually, as I recall, you said the crossing guard was actually hit.
Well, she was almost hit. We had 2 children that was severely hurt a couple of years ago.
We need, yes, I'll bring that up the next time I see the chief.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you, Councilman McGill. Recreation, Councilman Enriquez, please.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, there are no minutes or departmental reports. Looking for approval for application for a special event received from the following: Darul Arkham School to conduct a prayer service on Sunday, May 24th, 2020, from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Kennedy Park. The reports are in the packet. And Dwarkadish Temple to conduct religious service event on March 14th, 2020, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on their property located at 717 Washington Road.
We have to prepare a resolution for that. Okay, did everybody review the information packet? Everything's in order, Jessica?
From the police department, but I won't.
We won't.
By the next meeting.
Okay, thank you very much on that. Anything else?
Yes, I have a fine rec director's report. Due to revisions to the public athletic fields and fee schedule ordinances, all permit requests for the fields are on temporarily hold. So those, once our ordinance gets straightened out, we will start allowing the permits to go through. We also have a bus trip to Jurassic World Live at the Prudential Center. Tickets are $65 each. Seating is in lower section 4 and 5, Saturday, February 29th. Bus leaves the rec center at 5:30 for a 7 p.m. show. You can buy the tickets online at SayrevilleRec.com. Also, new Sayreville AA and Rec Soccer League spring season. Registration is open, SayrevilleRec.com. $30 per player with no work bond. League starts April 18th at the sports complex. For any further information, please call the rec office at 732-390-7096. And progress, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilman Enriquez. And now we'll move over to Water and Sewer. Councilwoman Marr.
I move the following minutes reports be received and filed, and nothing else, but I will comment that there was a commuter committee meeting for the visitors that we had last meeting. We had a few people come out and, we're talking about possibly creating a shuttle service like the MCAT offers down our county roads. So that's something that, we'll begin to investigate. And and then tomorrow's our Centennial Committee meeting.
Excellent. Thank you very much for chairing both of those committees. Moving on, Public Works, Council President Novak.
Yes, I don't have any minutes or departmental reports, and I'd just like to thank all the people in town who have been praying that we don't get snow.
Yes. It's
Keep
it's
it up
working.
for 6 more weeks. Thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Council President. And under my remarks, I would just like to say, first of all, it's been just over 30 days since our swearing in and taking this middle seat. For those of you that have seen me around, especially to a lot of the businesses and organizations that I've been visiting, I want to say thank you for welcoming me and letting me learn everything that you do and all the things that you would like to see happen. I also would like to say to everybody that has emailed or called the office, and Jessica and Nicole, they handle a lot of those calls, but I've received some really, really positive feedback and a lot of very interested people that want to step up and actually start volunteering and doing more for the town. And that's really what we need. What I will ask is that you continue to have patience as I get more accustomed to this role and taking a look at the things that we want to do to move Saraville forward. After 20 years under Mayor O'Brien, his vision for this town, it was his vision for this town. And I have a vision for this town as well. And it takes a lot of time to kind of organize me and get some ideas about what we can do to move forward. So I really want to say thank you to everybody that has allowed me that opportunity within the past month to do that. For those that I haven't been able to get in contact with yet, don't worry, I am coming. And you had brought up, Mr. Bracken, our one and only IT director. I've sat down with him now multiple times because one of the focuses that I think we need to do better up here as a council is actually communicating information and all of the wonderful things that we do here in this town. So we have been committed to at least starting to put together an information and almost like a bragging profile for Saraville. So not only do we know what's happening in town, where it is, but we also get to showcase not just here, but through social media, which is every platform that we can. So we're in the process of putting together a Facebook page, a Twitter page, and we're also trying to put together, similar to what the school district does, they have a bomber blast, and we are in the process of putting together a borough blast. So as that comes out, I hope that you guys will make sure that you share that information so that you can hear firsthand what we are doing up here together in trying to make Saraville a little bit better. With that, I'll move on to our business administrator's report. Mr. Frankel.
Thank you, Mayor. Authorization to appoint Nicole Ranowitz as an assistant municipal clerk effective March 1st, 2020.
Any concerns or issues? Moving on.
In the back of your packet here, you're going to see an agreement that we would like to have authorization to appoint Bruno Associates as a grant writer effective March 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020. The agreement needs to be tweaked to show those dates. And Mayor, I had a conversation today actually with the Superintendent Labby, and he has and would like to piggyback on our work on the grant writer and actually has volunteered, assuming that his board okays it, which he says no problem, that they will actually share in the cost of this grant writer 50-50.
I'd like to say thank you again to Mr. Frankel and to Dr. Labby. One of the things that I've been working on here is making sure that your two government agencies, the Borough Council and the Board of Education, have a working relationship to bring more to the town and to actually provide you a little bit more fiscal support. And I had mentioned to Dr. Labby with our last meeting that we were looking to do this for the borough, that it was important that we start to find other ways to fund projects. And I want to thank Councilwoman Marr, too, for doing so much work in trying to research and see what kind of grants are out there and what type of grant writers are available to us. And I'm happy to report that we're able to put this on the agenda tonight. And the Board of Education also agreeing to become a partner in this, so that way we can try and get the most for both the Board of Education and the borough with a cost-sharing service between the two. And I'm hoping to do that with additional projects as we move forward. I think that we can only benefit as a town when these two agencies, when we come together and work together. So thank you for taking care of all that work behind the scenes, and I'll make certain to thank Dr. Labby and our Board of Education members for agreeing to go into this with us. Any objections? Wonderful, thank you. Moving on, planning and zoning.
Authorization to contract with Middlesex County Improvement Authority for the borough's curbside single-stream recycling as recommended by a recycling coordinator.
Any objection?
Authorization to amend Commission on Aging ordinance to increase the membership by 2.
Any objection?
Authorization to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Trenton Vet Center to use the senior center to provide readjustment counseling to their clients.
Any objection?
Authorization for the borough engineer to prepare an electrical plan for the Burks Park walking path to the middle school at a fee not to exceed $5,000.
Any objection?
Authorization to amend ordinances that pertain to public athletic fields, municipally sponsored athletic organizations, and fees.
Any objection?
And authorization to amend the Recreational Advisory Board ordinance to include 2 youths under the age of 18.
Also, any objection? Wonderful. Again, I thank those residents and especially our 2 youths as for volunteering to serve on our recreation board. And when you think about what our recreation board does, it only makes sense that we put some young people that benefit from these programs so that their voices are heard. And hopefully, while we're starting with 2 for right now, hopefully we'll be able to expand that even more. So thank you for that as well. Yes.
Mr. Frankel, speaking of recyclables, starting April 1st, we're going to start getting fined for our recyclables, particularly the ones at Fort Grumpy. And I was hoping that on the agenda for the next meeting, we could hire somebody per diem to watch this, because it could get to be extremely expensive. If there's any contamination in the recyclables at Fort Grumpy, they will not take them, which means we would then have to dump them at the landfill. We'd probably get a fine from them for dumping recyclables, but this could get to be a very, very costly thing.
We actually have identified someone who has previously actually worked in Public Works, who we're just trying to make sure that they will do it for the 20 hours a week that we think it would take, and that money would come out of the recycling grant. So actually, there'd be no cost to the borough for that part-time and per diem employee.
You think that you'll have that ready for the next meeting?
I think we should. The person is just, yes, I think we should have that, we should have that for the next meeting.
Thank you.
And to piggyback off of what Council President Novak is saying, we are going to, and we're going to have to put this out to our residents, and that's why it's so important that we get a better way of communicating. There are going to be changes. They've already happened in other municipalities when it comes to our recycling, when it comes to the company that comes and picks up our recycling in the event that they find any contaminants and so forth. There is going to be charges attached to that. And we're not talking about, pennies here. We're talking about thousands of dollars potentially that our borough would be fined in essence for not having sorted properly and our residents not having sorted properly. If you pay attention to other social media pages in other towns, a lot of residents around our neighboring towns did not get notification early enough, and they were getting these big yellow stickers on their recycling and in their garbage stating that there were materials in there that they could not pick up. And this has caused quite a stir in other towns. I want to make sure we get ahead of this, and that was one of the reasons why I met with Tom Bracken, because these are the types of things that just going out on Channel 15 or talking about it here, or sending out a flyer here and there is not going to be enough, because it's going to come at a very, very expensive cost for us if we don't comply. So thank you for bringing that up, Council President Novak. I appreciate already starting to get that word out.
And there's one thing that, just to add on, just for people who, I did not know this, but maybe most of you probably also didn't know this, for those of us who eat pizza and have pizza boxes, they are not recyclable.
That's right.
They are put in garbage, okay? And when this goes into effect, that's because the box becomes tainted or dirty, okay? Now, I didn't know that. I thought paper box recyclable. It is not. And it's one of the things you'll see as far as one of the changes are concerned. That has to be put into your garbage. That will go to the landfill. That will not be recycled. There's other things, but just to give you one example of things that are changed.
So there's a lot that we need to do, and I've already reached out to Elise Barone, and I've been in contact with our DPW director in order to try and get notification with as much information out to the residents as possible. Mayor, I'll ask that you also follow up and just see where we are with that, because the more notification we get ahead of time, the better it will be.
I know that Elise put some out on In the County
Yes.
on our parents' pages.
Yes.
And it's being shared quite regularly. I think a lot of it has to do with, for years, we could recycle almost any plastics, and now it must be a 1 or a 2. A lot of the things you used to just throw in your recycling, a 5 or a 6 or a 3 or a 4, are no longer recyclable. There is no market, so we're only taking 1s and 2, and a lot of that is, you know, getting into the stream. And it's just because it's something that we were used to doing.
Yes, so, thank you for that. At this point, CFO's report, Denise?
I have a budget transfer resolution and also authorization to introduce the 2020 budget COLA increase ordinance.
Any objections or comments? Thank you. Borough Engineers report, Jay? Thank you. Borough Attorney?
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. No need for executive session. Then we'll open to the public for any and all comments. Steve?
Steve Melanowski, 28 Scarlet Drive. Councilman McGill, thank you for bringing up the Ernstine Road need for a light or some kind of control down there that's necessary. It's a hazard every week. 2 things. One, I know Public Works, Mary, we spoke about this last time about getting the Glencourt and all that up to Deerfield and down done, and I know, thank you, they came within 2 days to fill it in. However, it is not repairable. One of our neighbors broke a strut on their car. You can't get away from the holes. They're not filled, it's not smooth, it's not flat. So it is getting dangerous up there. Thank God we don't have any snow, because that would make it even worse. So we've got to do something at that top of that hill, because it's just really, really tough on the cars, and it can be dangerous. And the last thing I have is, we also talked about, you know, the chief and him, you know, looking at this, and I think that's a great, you know, way to look at it. My daughter herself was in an accident there. Somebody coming out of ShopRite just got the back of the car, you know, with my grandson in it. So it is hazardous. It's tough to get out of there. People don't turn their blinker on when they're coming into ShopRite. You don't know if they're going straight, and it's just a nightmare. So thank you, everybody.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak?
Christina Davis, 92 Miller Avenue. Just 2 follow-ups and then something new. So the video is not up. I just checked, so I figured I'd let you guys know so you can follow up with that. And then a follow-up to the permits that Mr. Frankel, you just had mentioned, but now you're looking to amend an ordinance that's going to involve that. I was just looking for clarity. Because if the permits being issued go on hold, then how long are we looking for the amendments for the ordinances to happen at the next Borough Council meeting? Are we looking for that 2 meetings from now? Like a timeline?
So, go ahead, I'll let you speak.
This is our work session, so it would be introduced then,
Mhm.
and then it would be passed the following, so it's 2 meetings. When you have a work session, that's what you do, so that won't be finalized unless the public has comment on it too, so.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering, because I know that originally on the old ordinances, it was a 10-day, you know, wait from when you apply to when you get your decision, but if they're going on hold, then that's.
We're on hold, so
Okay.
it may be more, it most likely would be more than 10 days right now.
Right, that's what I mean, just so I can expect it. Okay. I ask because on the Sayreville Rec website and SAA, they've been sending out flyers saying that they're the only municipally sponsored program or any program to be running at the sports complex. And right now on the Sayreville Rec website, they have the Sayreville Sports Complex reserved for 23 and a half hours a day until December. And their rec program that starts this spring is a 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. slot for the entire spring season. So are those permits, or you said no
There's no
issues?
permits have been issued.
Okay, so registration's open and there's no permits issued yet?
There's no permits
Okay.
issued yet.
Okay, no, just following up. So, the third thing is, on a meeting held on December 12th, Ms. Kilpatrick, I believe you were there, Mr. Enriquez and Jerry Ust, as well as Mr. Kalanda, who is also here today, stating that the rec department reached out to Sayreville AA to assist in creating a new soccer program for the borough. Since they needed to be associated with a 501c3 organization. Why is that? That's what was my question.
Why does the?
Why do you need to be why would the borough need to be associated with a 501c3 program?
Well, I mean, I'll defer over to my attorney on that, but the question is, why do they need to have the youth athletic, well, any organization we have under the.
Well, there's certain
503C.
requirements under the ordinance, and that requires, insurance. It requires that you comply with all the items in the ordinance, and I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that there's requirements of the 501, or of the ordinance regarding the 501c3.
Okay, so with that then, I'm not sure if anyone's aware of this, but I'll hand this to you then. Sayreville AA's 501c status was revoked in May of 2018 for failure to file taxes, and is still not currently a 501c3 organization.
We'll certainly follow up. A lot of times it's a filing fee and not necessarily taxes, but we'll certainly, I don't know where this came from.
It came from the IRS website, which is updated monthly, and
Okay.
I also spoke to a representative at the IRS that status has been revoked as of May 2018. So therefore, any donations that were given and then placed on
Again, you know
anyone's
what?
tax return as tax exempt are no
We'll
longer
certainly
tax
reach
exempt.
out. Having been very familiar with these type of organizations, many times it's simply just a filing fee versus taxes. As you know, 501c3 is a non-for-profit, so unlikely that there were taxes, but there are certain requirements for filings. So to say that they didn't file taxes, I think is misleading. But if they didn't file the required paperwork, that's a different story, and I don't know what this
Well,
this
that's
says.
what I'm explaining to you what that is. That is the
This
revoked
just,
list.
this
Correct.
just simply says that their 501c exemption was revoked. It does not state the reasons for it, and it does say here for not filing a form. So apparently
Correct, so that could either be an e-card, which is if the organization earns or has less than $50,000 in earnings, that they don't have to file a full return, but they do have to file and notify the IRS that they are an active organization.
So it's not, so this organization that you're referring to, which is the Sayreville Sports Athletic Association, does not indicate that it did not file its taxes. It does indicate that based on what the document you gave me, that it did not file Form 990. So that is probably the issue, but I'll address that with the borough administrator.
Right, just bringing it to your attention, because
Sure.
it does affect the borough, as if anyone from the borough donated money to that organization while they were under the revoked status, those exemptions are not valid exceptions.
Again, I'm not, are you an accountant
That's
also?
all I'm saying. I'm sorry?
Are you an accountant
I'm
also?
not, but I did confer with an attorney, accountant, and someone at the IRS.
Okay, again, we'll reach out.
That
to
was
the-
information
We'll
only.
reach out to determine if in fact this is accurate.
No problem.
Thank-
Anybody else from the public wish to speak? Sure, come on. Name and address for the record, please.
Bob Corby, 6 Evelyn Terrace.
Thank you.
You know how to spell that, right, Jess? She's my neighbor.
That's,
I just wanted to ask a question. I'm the new president of Sayreville Little League, so I just wanted to make sure that when you do this amendment to the ordinances, this does not affect pre-existing organizations in town, or?
that is correct. I actually have our director up here just to address that specific question. As long as it is a sponsored organization underneath our borough ordinances, something that we subsidize. I'll let Jerry speak on that, but it won't impact Sayreville Little League. It's expressed within that ordinance as well. But Jerry, anything you need to add in reference to that, or was I on point?
I didn't want to make you get up.
No, that's right. Was I on point? If I'm on point, then just say on
You're
point.
on point. It doesn't affect any of the municipally sponsored
Right,
athletic
that-
organizations going forward.
Thank you.
Okay, we just wanted that clarified. so we
Understood.
can sleep easy.
Thank you very much. Sleep easy this evening. Anybody else from the public wish to speak? Seeing none, I'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'll close the public
Or
portion.
close public portion, and then, all in favor? Motion to adjourn? All in favor? Thank you all very much. Have a great evening.
didn't say anything bad. No. But I went over it and I didn't say anything bad. But that was sneaky.
Call back tomorrow.
Now, wait till 9. Yeah. Call the son that was representing the soccer association. Well, he actually called me the other day and started talking, moving to the town, Boy Scouts and everything else. He asked me what's going on with soccer. So I start, to tell him. By the way, I'm representing him. And I said, but I'm saying, oh shit, what did I say? What did I say? What did I say? I said, that was really sneaky. He should have, before I answered, he should have said that. But I did not say anything bad.